Thanks for letting us tell our story today. It aligns with what these guys say too. We're all kind of marching along the same path here. One of the
I think we all feel good about that.
Yeah, that's good. No big surprise here. But one of the projects we've worked really hard last year is what we call Compile to Combat in 24 hours. And what that does is it addresses the fundamental challenges in an architecture that is legacy, that is hodgepodge together, that relies on big, old applications that have a lot of inherent cybersecurity vulnerabilities. And so we're fundamentally changing both the transport, how we move information around, and the data. And so under Compile to Combat, there's 4 key pillars that we're going after to address cybersecurity specifically, in addition to the overall improvement of how information flows. One is data standardization. So by standardizing XML, for example, we can use the inherent protocols of protecting at the lowest layer of the data. So you can tag data for protection and to move it smartly. The second piece is to use shared infrastructure. If I'm not putting a bunch of new servers on chips every time I want to put an application out, and I use shared infrastructure, I can reduce my attack surface and monitor that better, right? And then we are using a process called Secure DevOps, as you're probably aware of, Sec DevOps, where we're developing in a new way now. Again, breaking down those big monolithic applications to something similar you would see on your smartphone. Smaller snippets of applications where there's less risk to deploy them, but then you have a more controlled development environment. And so you can monitor the cybersecurity better, and you can do your security accreditation within 24 hours. So we revised our processes. If you develop in this model, we've gone from 18 months to 24 hours to get your approval for your security, your RMF, we call it, risk management framework, your security accreditation to put that software on the ship. And then lastly, in accordance with what Mr. Deasy is looking for, the DoD CIO, we're pushing the fourth pillar is use of the commercial cloud. So that secure DevOps environment is in the commercial cloud from start to finish. We're using best practices that the industry is using and shedding some of the Navy unique snowflake things that we thought we needed to do that we don't. We can do what industry does, we'll be fine, you know. And so those have been our biggest pushes. So that Compile to Combat was actually tested from start to finish within 8 months of starting application reform on 5 applications to deploying it on a ship and testing it, and it successfully worked with all those pillars. So now we're moving out for the rest of the enterprise to do the same.